Bring back rock.
Hey everybody, it's Dean. Welcome to Bring Back Rock. Today we're talking about Boston's The Upper Crust. If you're not familiar with them, they came out probably like the mid-90s and they had a 20-plus year career. So their main influence, Bon Scott era ACDC. But I've heard a bunch of other bands mentioned. I mentioned this video, Kiss, Cheap Trick, etc., the Ramones, things like that. Really good hard rock. If you look at a band like Steel Panther, they're a parody band. They parody the 80s. And the reason they're successful is because their music is so good. It's pretty dead on. The lyrics, you can decide if they're for you or not. This band, I don't consider a parody act. I consider them a novelty act. But the reason they had a 20-year career is because their music is really, really good. They dress as 18th century aristocrats, powdered wigs, buckled boots, etc. And they write from that perspective, kind of snobby, rich, obviously aristocrats from the 1700s. And that often leads to some quite humorous songs. But the music is really, really good. The guys are really intelligent to write, this many albums on that from that point of view. And please watch to the end. But I play music samples, so everybody knows what I'm talking about. So just before the music samples, when I'm finishing up their history, the last few minutes, there are some really kind of crazy stories. You are not going to believe the career path one of these guys took post Upper Crust. It's really, just watch, you'll see. Okay, so poll questions. I asked, what did you prefer? Wild Side, Under the Influence, or Roxy Blue, or Milkshakes? Roxy Blue, Want Some is the album. I'll give you those results at the end. I misspelled Roxy Blue, and it wouldn't let me edit it. I could have deleted it and reposted it, but there's already a bunch of votes. So just in case that affected the results, I'm giving them another shot in the next poll, which I will tell you about at the end of the video. So check out The Upper Crust. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll catch up with you at the end.
They're ever upper class, high society, God's gift to ballroom notoriety. These words perfectly describe the Upper Crust. It's hard to imagine that this band wasn't inspired by the masterpiece Big Balls by ACDC. Their biggest influence is obviously Bon Scott era ACDC, with nods to Kiss. I've heard others mention Cheap Trick, the Ramones, Buzzcocks, and more. I hear others as well on certain songs, but AC/DC seems to be the overriding influence. They started out as the Clam Diggers, a surf rock type band out of Boston who dressed like Judge Smalls from Caddyshack before christening a ship, except for bassist Mark Mazzarelli, who dressed in a lobster suit. Their most successful gig was playing at a home for mentally challenged adults. It's true, there was a clip of it in their documentary, which we will get to. Let's start with the founding members. Nat Freebers is Lord Bendover, middle name Please, on vocals and guitar. Ted Weimer is Lord Rockingham on guitar and some lead vocals. Dave Fredette is Le Duc Distortion. Mark Mazzarelli is the Marquis de Roque, R-O-Q-U-E, also known as Marquis Mark. Jim Janota was Jackie Kickasses. Now, on their appearance on the Conan O'Brien show, he found their names very humorous. He said, you guys spent way too much time on the names. Okay, so how did the Clam Diggers become the Upper Crust? Not totally sure. All I saw was that it started out as a gag to amuse some friends and just caught fire. So what are they? They have the image of 18th century aristocratic fops. Buckle boots, powdered wigs, pancake makeup, fake beauty spots, and sing of their lives and struggles from that perspective. They are from Boston and play mostly on the East Coast, but have toured America and Europe and opened for bands like fellow Bostonians Aerosmith, The Damned, The Go-Go's, The Dictators, Tenacious D, and more. Finding fans, including famous ones like Justin Hawkins of The Darkness, who did an entire episode of his podcast praising the genius of our favorite semi-famous fops. They built a reputation and following, leading to appearances on late-night TV, most famously, like I said, with Conan O'Brien. They released their debut album, Let Them Eat Rock, in 1995 on Upstart Records. One member joked the album failed so spectacularly that the label went belly up. Actually, officially, they were bought out or merged with another label. Now, the Marquis de Roque was viewed by Lord Bendover as the weak link musically, and he left soon after album number 1. See, after album number 1, there was a infamous fight. Playing at a charity event, a couple attendees at the front of the stage heckled the band in their outfits repeatedly until Lord Bendover, Nat, had enough. Politely removed himself from the stage, politely requested they refrain from any more shenanigans with his fists. He beat the crap out of them. It was written about in the papers and actually caused the band to have to go on hiatus for a bit. The Marquis DeSade, reevaluated his role in the band and took his leave. Nat had kind of been leaning on him to leave the band. Ted kind of viewed it as a little bit of bullying, and that was kind of the first crack in Lord Rockingham's and Lord Bendover's friendship. Needing a new bassist for their upcoming tour, they tapped their former A&R guy into taking over on bass. Chris Cote, or Cote, it's C-O-T-E, took over, and Count Basie was born. Count Basie, because he played the bass, and he was with the band until the end. In 1997, album number 2, The Decline and Fall of the Upper Crust, was released. In 1995, a documentary on the band began filming and continued through the appearance on Conan O'Brien. It skipped forward 5 years following that, and the band talked about their careers between Conan O'Brien and where they were now. It's finished in 2004, released to film festivals in 2005 and 2006. There had been tension brewing between Nat and Ted, as Nat was looking to expand the band, and Ted, his life was becoming complicated, which we will get to a little later in our tale. Following a terrible performance in which Nat, Lord Bendover, had imbibed heavily of mead, performing poorly, and chastising the audience with a near record number of F-bombs. Problem was, at this particular gig, there was a number of record executives checking out the band that night. This led to a final fight between Lord Bendover and Lord Rockingham, causing the latter to take his leave of the band. This also came around the time as his job offer, the job which we will soon get to, fret not. In the least surprising turn of events, they appeared on Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, an ACDC tribute album playing Black in Black. In 2000, they released Entitled, a double live album, and in 2001, studio album 3, Once More Into the Breaches, came out. Without Lord Rockingham, who was not replaced, nor could he be, as the band went on with only 2 guitarists henceforth. Cream of the Crust, their best of, came out in 2006. I should mention they were also on Guitar Hero as a bonus song for Eureka, I Found Love, and they were animated in the kids show codenamed Kids Next Door. All right, in 2009, Revenge for Imagined Slights, album number 4, was released, continuing their run of high-energy rock and roll. It was their last for 8 years before returning with album number 5 in 2017, with the release of Delusions of Grandeur. 2017 also led to the delusion of our hero's band and the end of our fairy tale, a tale of epic battles, acts of hedonism, and heroism, all set to the soundtrack of stupendous rock and roll. I have to say, seriously, I have a feeling the intelligence in this band is very high. The ability to write about this era actually took a bit of knowledge. I don't recall, for example, what a castrata was. Look it up. The Marquis DeSade, Mark Mazzarelli, he's an architect, and even while he was in the band, mostly a landscape architect. After the band, he started his own company and had Tufts University as a major client. He also got married and started a family. Lord Bendover, Nat, he's a man of leisure. A trust fund child whose pockets were kept full from a trust set up by his great-great-grandfather, newspaper magnate Joseph Pulitzer. You may have heard of something called the Pulitzer Prize. He didn't seem rich, just rich enough to not need a job other than the band. And later he opened a furniture shop. My guess is he also had a decent education. Oh, and he has a large pig for a pet named Pig. He, after Upper Crust, released Friedberg solo albums and also plays in other bands with former members of the Upper Crust. Dave, he worked at a bookshop and said, if not for the customers, it'd be the perfect job. He could just read all day. And reading is knowledge, and knowledge is power. Or not. And Jim, a.k.a. Jackie Kikassis, has another story I must relate before moving on to the music samples. Working at a music store, a dude comes in. He had heard Jackie Kikassis played like John Bonham and wanted him for his band. So Jim just agrees to check out the band the next night, sees the show, but he really wasn't blown away. He thought the stage show wasn't the best and he wasn't his scene. So he thanked the guy for consideration but turned down the gig. The band turned out to be Pearl Jam, and the guy was Eddie Vedder. Not long after, while working that music store, I started seeing all these Pearl Jam CDs flying off the shelf. Ugh, missed opportunity. But, in my opinion, he stuck with the better band, just not the bigger one. Last bit is very interesting. Ted, Lord Rockingham, and The Job. When we first met Ted in the documentary, he's in his office, a mess filled with 17th to 20th century books, also a photo of his favorite president, Andrew Jackson, and right above Andrew is a tasteful nude of a beautiful woman. He is teaching at Harvard at the time. He was also a student there. He got his bachelor's, master's, and PhD there. He was also editor of the school humor magazine, The Harvard Lampoon. So, obviously a very bright guy. After album number 2, Around the Fight, Ted gets the offer to be director of speech writing at the National Security Council in Washington, D.C., and later senior advisor to President Bill Clinton for special projects, and speechwriter on foreign policy. He also later helped President Clinton with writing his memoirs and was senior advisor to Hillary Clinton when she was Secretary of State. Regardless of your politics, that's pretty impressive for the guitarist of the upper crust. He's a historian with about 10 books published, mostly American history related, but edited Paul McCartney, Wings, Band on the Run. And he also, his history of baseball was published in the New York Times, or the history of the origins of baseball. Yes, the main fight leading to Ted leaving were with Nat wanting commitment to the upper crust, and Ted having a lot of other things, including his wife, child, and huge job offer taking priority in his life. Insane turn of events. When he was hired, the Inquirer wrote a piece, "What is up with the new hire of President Clinton?" showing Ted in costume, focusing on a Song of the Crust's Monarchy in the USA, a play on the Sex Pistols' Anarchy in the UK, about needing a king to return to America and restore order to the land. The FBI, of course, overreacted, interviewing him and all the members of the upper crust to see if Ted was indeed a monarchist. One of the only people in the last 200 years to be accused of that. Ted kind of takes it as a badge of honor and humor. Of course, nothing came of it, but it's pretty funny. Okay, onward. Let's sally forth to the music samples. I shall return afterward.
Picking through the garbage behind my favorite restaurant. The sickly pale, the thin as a rat. I don't know what in the hell they want. Well, let them in right. And why don't you eat a right? I said I'm ready on that. Let them in right. In right now. You came and saw and conquered me, and then you went away. You left me in misery, and in an ipso facto way, well, I gave you all my sympathy. You tore them up just like Euripides, but now I'm backing out ashamed to plead. You hear me saying, Eureka, I found love. Eureka, I found love. Situation's tricky. I got a new pants back, but aside from that, I don't wanna seem too picky. Someone help me through this wicked, cause it's awfully sticky. I got my ass caught in my diggy. Got my ass caught in my diggy. I got my ass caught in my diggy. Which one will it be? Well, I can't decide for the life of me. I've got so refined, but I think it's gonna blow your mind. If I could just make up my mind, I'd be out there in a jiffy. I got my ass caught in my diggy. Got my ass caught in my diggy. I got my ass caught in my diggy. If you see a ditch, giving off a stench that makes you sick. Makes you sick. I said, don't spit on him, 'cause he's the same beneath his dirty old skin. And he can't help it if he's poor and if you're rich. And that's why everybody's equal, some more than others. I said, hold out your hand, throw a penny to your brothers. Can't all be quite as equal as me, but I'm sure you will still agree that everybody's equal to a greater or a lesser degree. Little cats trying to hit the crazy notes. For what they done to him, there ain't no antidote. His balls are gone and they ain't coming back. Left that kid just holding the sack. Always a child and never a man. Flies in the face of God's master plan. But when that little cat's right on whales, it's a solution that never fails. It's just like a blackboard straight by fingernails. Go, go, little cat straddle. 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 Go, go, little cat straddle.
I've taken leave of my senses. Seems this was meant to be. I've got delusions of grandeur, more than is usual for me. I need a good bloodletting and a burgundy ASAP. When I asked the preacher what's wrong with me, he said the demon was to blame, you see. Asked my doctor and he opined the backbite is affecting my mind. I've taken leave of my senses, and I cannot deny that I'm seeing strange visions, and I believe I can fly. So don't try and hold me down, just wave bye-bye.
Got myself a little rickshaw boy. I said chop chop to the little rickshaw boy. He could hardly move and I became annoyed as he trembled and looked about to fall. I cursed my luck and as the rickshaw stalled I said, move you nasty little rickshaw boy. The little rickshaw boy looked gravely ill as he staggered on so slow I could have killed. I suffered such grave inconvenience I could hardly be expected to be lenient. Said, run you nasty little rickshaw boy. Just as we got to the bank the boy collapsed.
All right, so that's a little bit on Boston's The Upper Crust. Pretty interesting story, pretty crazy history, and good music. So anyway, where can you find them? You can find everything but their debut record on the on Spotify, the streaming services, etc. You can buy their stuff. The only one I found at a decent price, though, is their second album. All the others range between $30 and $120. I think the later ones had a limited run. I think they're mostly released to streaming, and they're just very expensive if you can find them at all. All right, poll questions. Which late genre entry did you prefer? Wild Side, Under the Influence, Roxy Blue, Want Some, or Malts or Milkshakes? All right, Malts or Milkshakes came in third with 3%, even though they're extraordinarily delicious. Roxy Blue, they came in at 17%. Want Some came in at 17%. Like I said, I misspelled Roxy Blue. I put a S instead of an X for some reason, and I didn't catch it. Wild Side, Under the Influence, that leaves them with 80%. I'm telling you, Wild Side is amazing. I really love that Roxy Blue record too. So thought it'd be a little closer, but I'm not surprised because that Wild Side album is crazy, crazy good. All right. Because I misspelled Roxy Blue, I'm going to put them in the next poll also. So I'm putting Roxy Blue Want Some against Bangalore Choir's On Target, 2 albums from 1992 that have a lot of fans that are fans of the genre. So I'm giving them another chance in the next poll, and then we'll move on. But please vote on that on my community page. All right, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode.